and I can't react.
And it is from the movie Once, which Grainne, who was singing there, and Marketa, who you can hear as well, they wrote the music and the lyrics for the movie, and then a musical was produced of the same, which is called Once the Musical, and it is showing now at the Gaiety Theatre. And it is quite the production, because there is a pub that has been put into the Gaiety Theatre, for one thing, and it's a very immersive musical. David Dawson, first of all, from Three Legs Productions.
Hello.
Fast Am I, welcome to the show again. It's lovely to see you. You are directing this, and you are the man who has had to kind of deal with the logistics of this. Tell me about this working pub.
Yes, so we're very lucky. It's the first time it's been done in the Gaiety, as far as we know. So we had to jump through a few hoops when we went to the licensing courts, and really gratefully they gave the license for the stalls, which meant because our performers play the instruments on stage, we don't need an orchestra. So we decided, well, it can be a bar, can't it? It can be a pub. So we have a bar at the front of the theatre.
So it's kind of where the pit is, where the musicians would normally go.
Yeah, so it's there. So we have a special VIP section. So you can drink in the stalls. You can go to any of the already kind of bars in place in the Gaiety, and you can take your drinks to stalls. But the lucky few VIPs, they get to go to the front. They can have their drink from the front, and then also they get to go on stage in the interval, so they can be immersed in the kind of pub vibe on stage as well, while we also have some trad music playing and things.
So the audience can actually get on stage as well.
Yep, so if it's first time, if you've never been on the Gaiety stage, you can see it from where the performers' view is. So we had a great group up. They were loving it. Lots of selfies, as you can imagine, happened. So, but it was wonderful. It was kind of a non-stop immersive theatre last night. So
it was your opening night last night, wasn't it?
It was, yes, and we were thrilled to see. It was a packed audience. We had a standing ovation. They literally sprang out their seats, which was just lovely. So yeah, it's been a big job. I saw once, I didn't know of the film, and I took a punt in London about 10, 12 years ago when it was in the West End, and walked in and instantly fell in love. I think it is my favourite musical. And did you then
watch the movie afterwards?
No, I stayed clear. So it was, I can't say how powerful the musical is. I went away afterwards feeling all kinds of emotions. And then when it became available for licensing, for amateur license, as Three Legs, I basically said, no, we've got to get this. I said it's going to be probably the hardest thing we ever put on stage because of the challenges that it has. But I said it needs to come to the island. And yeah, here we are.
Oh, you're romantic, aren't you? He is a romantic. Well, that was the lead piece from it. Falling Slowly. And I'm delighted to say that also in the studio with us, we have the two characters, I can only really describe them as characters, who are going to be performing that and have been performing it last night and will do for the next couple of days. Lorcan and Grainne are with us. Now, you play just characters. You never get named in this, do you?
No, guy and girl. That's all they were. And they didn't have names in the film either. It's part of who they are. Like you've always said that the story's more about them and that moment. The whole show takes place over a week, basically.
Yeah, I think the fact that they don't have names is quite poignant. It means quite a lot because it's just about the current moment, isn't it? It's not about their backstory.
Yeah,
their names don't matter really.
So guy and girl are sitting opposite me at the moment. It was opening night last night. How did it go for you two?
It was amazing. I mean, my voice might be sounding a bit deeper than usual this morning, but no, it was absolutely incredible. I've done quite a few shows in the Gaiety Theatre, but I've genuinely, it sounds like hyperbole, but I've never seen an audience reaction like that. We were playing the final song, and there was just a little bit of a break, and one person just did an absolutely massive clap, thinking that was it. But we then continued, and I could hear everyone, all his friends around him, laughing at him, clapping. And then just straight away, it was just everyone up on their feet.
It was a pretty special moment, wasn't it? I think when you're in your rehearsals for such a long time, you kind of stop seeing it. Like it's good, you know it's a great show, but it's not until that moment that you think, oh, okay, they love it. Phew.
It's also the kind of moment where you go, this was good.
Because, when it comes down to it, it is quite the achievement, because it's not just about being on stage and acting and singing.
No.
You're playing instruments as well.
Yeah.
Live.
Well, so one of the biggest challenges, I think, and the commitment, and I just want to say thanks to my wife, who's 5.5 months pregnant, for putting up with the last 4 months of me never seeing her. The commitment has been massive, and even more so than usual, because usually when you do a musical, you sing and you act, and then you turn up and the professional musicians are there and they read the notes and then they play, and that's it. Whereas for this, we've had to, not only have we had to learn the songs, but some people have had to learn actual instruments as well.
Yeah, so Grainne, people will probably know you more for playing the fiddle perhaps, but that's not what you do in the show, is it?
It's not, no. So that's been a mini journey for me. And it could have been a terrifying one, but I think that coming together of like Steve Dakin and Dave Kilgallen, who are our MDs, they have just been the most supportive people for me, from my point of view, of having to learn an instrument from scratch.
And what did you learn?
Piano. So
as you do.
Just a really simple instrument.
And again, my family are sick of hearing it, I'm sure. Over and over. No, but I'm just so grateful for the support that I've had for having to learn. It's been amazing.
What an incredible achievement, I have to say. Well, we're very much looking forward to seeing this over the next few nights. We'll find out more from the cast in just a few moments. So if you've got any questions for them, 166 177 on the text, or studio@manxradio.com on email. Or, of course, you can WhatsApp us. We don't mind you doing that as well. Send us a voice note if you like. We'll talk to them more after this one. This is...
What is it? No.
Oh, I love that bit at the end. You can really hear his accent there. Speaking of which, that was quite a nice link, really. We're joined by the cast, some of the cast and the director of Once, the musical, which started last night, opened at the Gaiety Theatre, and is going down extremely well. We're getting some lovely messages from people. Lorcan and Grainne, you both play characters. Lorcan, your character is Irish.
Yes.
Which, of course, that is where you're from. However, different kind of Irish, so to speak.
Yeah, so I've got to do a Dublin accent, which is... It's not too bad. Growing up, I grew up in Ireland, obviously for long enough to get some kind of an accent. But all we watched on TV was RTE, so that's similar to everyone in England knowing what a London accent sounds like. So the Dublin accent was instilled. I won't talk it up too much, because I'm sure people from Dublin will come in and be like, "Jesus, that's awful." Thank you.
I know, I spotted it there. Yeah. Very good.
I'm finding it really difficult not to have a Dublin accent after the show, though, because I don't need. So I've been on the island for 23 years now, so I don't really know what my accent is. I go home and apparently I sound English, and I'm over here and obviously I sound a bit Irish. So I'm kind of a middle Irish accent. And then the Dublin accent does catch me out a bit, and you just having to drop the end of words every now and then, and I find myself slipping into it from time to time.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Well, Grainne, you've got something more of a task, because you have to be... Is it from the Czech Republic? Is that... yeah.
That's right, yeah. So that's been a little bit of a challenge, but an enjoyable one. I love accents, really love accents, so... absolutely immerse myself in that. But like Lorcan said, like I go into work, I'm like, "Hello, how's everybody doing?"
That's fantastic.
I find myself just popping into it these little bits from the show.
It must be tougher for Jeff Jepson is in this. Christy, you know Jeff. So he is, well, he's got a Scouse Manx accent. He has to then play a Czech man who then does a Dublin accent with a Czech twang. So I don't know how he does it, but he absolutely nails it.
Just to clarify, I don't think Jeff has done acting on the stage before, has he?
No, not at all. I don't think he ever will either. Again.
I think this has been the biggest challenge. A lot of the entire cast is from the island, and it really kind of shows how strong I think the arts scene is on the island. When we've had to reach out, and really it's been a lot of the kind of musician scene, the circuit. We've had to bring in a lot of people, and it's been like, right now you're going to learn how to act and dance with your instrument and do all those kind of things and do accents, and that's where it's been really quite special. Yeah. And Jeff, just for one of them, has just been amazing. I mean, he's an incredible musician anyway, but he's just come in and he's just gone for it. He's learnt the drums for it as well. Yeah. And yeah, it's incredible just to watch him and think, they hold their own even more than a lot of people could or would, I think.
Yeah, I work with Jeff so regularly. In the morning he'll just come down and be like, I just can't get the foot bit. And I've just been thinking about it all day. And the amount of coffee we've gone through in our office in the last 4 months has been quite impressive.
Oh my word! So is it your fault that he's in this then?
It's absolutely my fault entirely. Yeah, I went up to him after the curtain came down yesterday and said, "Have you forgiven me for getting you involved?" And he went, "Just about."
Oh, bless him. Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing him. Grainne, there's not that many performances, are there? So if people want to get the tickets, they're going to have to get in there. When is it on?
They need to get in. We've got 5 more shows. So tonight, 7:30, and then the next 2, Friday, Saturday. I mean, we've done something a little bit different again that's not been seen at the Gaiety. We have a 5:30 showing and then a 9:30 showing. So how nice is that? You can go out for your meal. You don't need to rush. You know, if you want to go for something a bit later, have a few drinks and then come to the show, that's great. Or the other way around. And that's something that we hope people will embrace. It is different, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. And Dave, if you're trying to sum it up for people, because obviously it's based on the film, but it's not the same as the film. So if you're trying to sum this up as a production to get people to come along, how would you describe it?
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be quite careful because I don't want to give too much away. But it is, in essence, it is a love story. But it's also a love story about music. And I think just going back to the guy and girl side of things, I think it also is very clever because it's everybody. And I think anybody who sees this show will find a moment of it being them. It's when we fall in love and how we struggle with love and just the outcomes and how people come. There's a great line about how love in the hands of people turns into soup, and I think it's a really quite a nice kind of phrase, that and thought. And it is very funny, but it is in a sense a love story. And
a lot of fabulous music on the go. Well, listen, I always have to say break a leg, but it always feels wrong that, because I don't want you to hurt yourselves, but I also don't want to, kind of jinx the performance, so I'll say break a leg.